good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS, the Rant. Let's age. Today, we are going to be talking about parasocial relationships. Are you in one? Let's find out. Well, here we are. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jade, and this is The Rant. We do this every Sunday if you're living in the US or UK, Monday morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. here in Australia. And boy, what a massive day yesterday was. I am still bugging out. I've had fuck all sleep, and I'm sure many other people have. Such a buzz from the million-hour stream marathon that even Sammy Davis Jr. would stop punching women for. It was so amazing. There were so many amazing artists who gave their time, so many people who gave their art, so many people who gave their money, so many people who just were there in the chat just being supportive. Every single person played their role. There was not a parasocial relationship in sight. Let me tell you that. It was an absolute privilege to be a part of what was done yesterday afternoon for me, and it just shows one of the main reasons I get up every day to maintain this particular channel. Because this is one of the best communities I've ever been a part of in my life. All right? It just really is. In a world where every day you turn on the news, or try not to turn on the news, and it's just misery and hatred and people being pushed together to fucking hate each other. Somehow in this weird little pocket of the internet, there's these crazy little unique, interesting human beings that make music and art and draw, and some people don't make any art or do anything, but they just love the stuff and love being a part of it. And we're just here, and we just somehow overcome any obstacles that are thrown at us, any relationship stuff that we may have to confront, or views we may have that don't align politically or anything like that, and we just continue to say hello to each other many times a day sometimes. In fact, sometimes I may say hello to the same person in a chat at least 18 times. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other fucking way, because, as I said, in a world where fucking everybody is just out to divide, somehow we continue to stay united and are able to cut out the outside noise of the world and continue to uplift people. It's a very, 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 very rare situation that we have. And it's just an honor to be a part of it. And God, touch wood every day. Touch wood every day. What's this? I've made a pact also. For me, the next week is a no pants week. I'm going to wear skirts every week. You know, yesterday was a big milestone for me as well too. Let me tell you a little bit about my journey yesterday, because we're talking about parasocial relationships today, and this kind of works into it. And then I'll say hello to you all, because I see all your wonderful typing faces over there. I got really sick in like 2015, and you know, at the time when I got sick, my life was going pretty damn good. I was working in the sex industry, making a lot of money, baby. A lot of fucking money. And then one day out the blue, I got incredibly ill and just started bleeding from the face. And had no idea why this fucking thing was happening. Why did I wake up and this was me now? Why? Why was I covered in bruises? Why every day was this going on in my life? And I couldn't work it out, because the day before, I mean, this was the night before that happened. That was the night before. There I was at a nightclub. And my life was pretty damn fucking good. I mean, you know, I wasn't looking too bad at that stage. the hormones were doing pretty damn good for me. And what happened was, well, I got sick and they took my spleen and all this shit happened. And I had come down with this incredibly rare blood disorder and they put me on steroids for years and it changed me. It detransitioned me. So for the past, since about 2016, I felt incredibly ugly and not cared about the way I look anymore. And this is part of why there's dreadlocks now. I just was like, I don't care anymore. And yesterday was the opportunity for me to go, you know what? I'm listening to Kurt today because Kurt told me not long before he passed away, don't let the dickheads win. Be who you are. Just be. Just continue to be who you are. And yesterday, I got to do that. I got to do that yesterday and stand there in front of you all in a bloody skirt and stuff and, I don't know, feel good. So I've come out of it today going, you know what, let's do some legs for the rest of the week. And, you know, it is what it is. So hopefully out of yesterday's wonderful performance too, hopefully you got something out of it as well for yourself. I mean, these things that we do, these performances and these things that we're a part of, it's not only you performing for people, hopefully you're performing to get something out of it yourself, yeah, and to walk away coming out of it better. That's how I've always looked at performance, as like it's a chance to express yourself and kind of, you know, paint your shit over the audience. Let them know how you feel without shoving it down their throat and trying to bully people into understanding. Delivering it with compassion and empathy. You know, remember that thing? It's called woke now. It's called wokeism. Remember that? Compassion and empathy. It's been hijacked and now they call it wokeism or some bullshit. But no, that's it. So again, I want to put out a thank you to everybody who was involved yesterday. It was just an absolute fucking privilege to sit there and just see this community shine and do what we do best. And, you know, I've said it before, I sometimes wish the rest of the world could see what we have in this little pocket. But then I think about it even more and think, you know what? I don't want you to come and find this place because once other people find it, they'll ruin it. And this is ours. It's ours. Anyway. There's my mini rant for today. Let's say hello to you all, Mr. Smith. Now, I'm going to have to try and catch up, so if you can type something now, I can find you. Thomas Christ, Mr. Smith, Ed B. Metal, Pookie, Kitch Breeder, Ali Patches, Ed B. Forest of the Wolf, Ali Dell, Mr. Smith, I always say, eat herbs, Herby Burby. Herby Burby? What the fuck? Did I say Pookie? I think I did. Joe Glenn. And I've got to apologise to my patrons. I'll get all the codes out to you after this show. Yesterday, it just consumed the whole day. Kim, thank you so much. Good to see you, Kim. And I saw Leela at the top of the show. Gary Hubbs, mate, you were awesome. Backstage pass, Gary Hubbs, the man. He's amazing. Who else do I see here? I may have missed Barry. I got Barry Glenn. Barry Glenn's in the house. Rich, g'day, Rich. Chad Freeman. Hey, Chad. Chad's got a show on today. Make sure you get over to his channel. Go and support Chad. He does a lot of great stuff on his channel. Everyone puts out really great content, and you should go and support. I know I'm looking over here and to find Liz Leela. And I'm really looking forward to some more sleep. After the show, I ended up on a call with Michael Songs, Dom, and Chris for hours last night. God, it was like the show never ended. It just went on and on and on. And on and on and on. All right. Now, I've got an announcement to make. We're going to do this at the top of the show, and I'll make it in the middle of the show. So I'm very excited about this. I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. Now, most of you know I do interviews each and every week. Not every week. Sometimes I do like these rants with a guest on, or sometimes we have a re-interview where somebody comes back. But I try and get interesting people to come on. Hey, David, Live to Fly. Good to see you. This week, look, I'm always very privileged for anybody who comes on my show, and I don't take it lightly when I ask people to come on. I try to accommodate an interview per individual and build the interview around the person. You know, it's not just a carbon copy of the last interview. Yeah, it's very thoughtful, and I try not to offend and be careful and all this kind of stuff. And this week we're very, very privileged to have a very special guest. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for the gifted membership, who went to Foxy Friends. Oh, that sounds hot, doesn't it? Hello, JW Big Tex 1. Okay, you ready for who my guest is this week? Are you ready for it? And I am very privileged for this. This week's guest here on the channel, this Thursday, US UK time, the usual time, is Justine Kasparick. So, I'm very, very, very excited to have Justine on, because now, and I said this to her before, we've seen her pop up on a bunch of panels recently, and she gets up there, but it's in amongst a whole bunch of other really big personalities. We're all sitting there and we're all, oh, look at all of us. We're all on the panel as well. And I just want to have some time where it's just me and Justine, and I can be absolutely respectful. And we're going to let her pick a selection of songs that she likes. And we're going to find out all about her. And yeah, I think it's going to be wonderful. So hopefully you can spread the word around. I'll have the thumbnail up later today, and the link will be up. And we're going to find out about our wonderful, wonderful friend, Justine Kasparick. So, again, I don't take this lightly. Yeah. Ooh, nervous much? A little bit. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about parasocial relationships. How does parasocial relation, well, in fact, what is a parasocial relationship, I hear you ask? And now I know a lot of people, just like transsexualism, there's a lot of weird fucking idiots on this planet who think, oh, transgender people only started 10 years ago and it's some new trend that I disapprove. Listen, idiot. There's been trans people since before the dawn of time. The first sex change was done with a rock. Ouch. Can you imagine that? No anesthetic and a rock with another rock. Yeah, that's done. Okay? So let's get that done. And it's the same with, why am I talking about that? Well, parasocial relationships have been around for a long time also. You're going to hear a lot of people say parasocial relationships are only for streamers. And no, parasocial relationships have been around for many, many, many years. Kings and queens, right? Back when anybody who's some kind of upper echelon or regarded in high esteem has probably had some kind of parasocial relationship of somebody looking, going, oh, that king, I love him. I wish he would notice me. And the king doesn't, because the king just doesn't give a fuck, does he? Jenny Jolivet, welcome to you. And Paul O'Farrell, hello to you. So parasocial relationships are not a new thing like people are saying. So what is a parasocial relationship? Let's break it down. According to my good friend at DeepSeek, I don't use ChatGPT anymore. I send my data to China because I'm a rebel. Parasocial relationships refer to a one-sided, emotionally charged connection that individuals form with media personalities, right? Media personalities, celebrities or fictional characters even inanimate objects. Think about it. In these relationships, the individual feels a sense of intimacy, attachment, or friendship with the figure, even though the figure is completely unaware of the individual's existence or cannot reciprocate the relationship in a meaningful way. This phenomenon is often facilitated by media such as television, social media, YouTube, podcasts, or other platforms. Now, of course, this is much wider than just television. This is radio. There's an amazing comedy series from Britain called Black Books. If you know, you know, right? If you've never seen it, look it up. It's one of the greatest comedy series you'll ever fucking see. And in the episode, one of the characters, one of the female characters, she gets an obsession with the guy who does the shipping report on the radio. And every night she sits down and she listens to this guy going, "At night the ship will be coming in at 6:30 p.m. And she fucking fingers herself to it. She gets right off on it. And then she ends up meeting the guy, and he is a complete and utter and and it's hilarious. But this is how parasocial relationships begin. It can begin at porn, right? It can begin on the radio, movies, even characters out of books. I mean, look, if Brad example, are you here, Brad? Brad has a parasocial relationship with Superman, believe it or not. He thinks Superman loves him, but Superman's too busy out stopping crimes for you, Brad. I'm sorry to tell you. Ed Zielinski, welcome. I hope you're laughing at that, Brad. That was meant to be a joke. But yes, this happens across the Little Book of Calm. Yeah, if you know, you know, don't you? If you know, you know. No one wants to admit to being over-attached to a celebrity, but everybody is. See, it's interesting. I can speak personally, right? I never prayed before, but Superman, please help me. I love a lot of artists and like, for example, I'm obsessed with Mike Patton, right? But not obsessed in the way that I write him millions of messages and never get reciprocated. I have actually met him and performed on the same stage as him, and but felt myself when I met him going and had to reel it in a little bit. But by the second, third time you meet somebody like that, you just go, "Oh my God, this person is so fucking normal," and you see how other people react. You know, people get stars in their eyes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've seen people online, you know, if you go to somebody's Twitter, a big celebrity's Twitter page, and you'll see, if you look at them, you'll see some people constantly writing, "Hey, today I went to the beach, Cyndi Lauper. Would you like to see photos?" And there's never been one response from Cyndi Lauper. Well, this is the question. When does a parasocial relationship become stalking? A criminal offense? Because that's the next level. This is the problem with parasocial relationships, isn't it? Because, you know, we're all not feeling mentally the same. It's the same argument with guns, yeah? Like, I'm all for ownership of guns in America. I've no problem with it. I just don't think they should be given to people who are on the edge of, you know what I mean? And parasocial relationships with celebrities can go down that path if unchecked. And there's been many, many examples of people who've been having these parasocial relationships with celebrities, and then they act on it. And Kim says here, Kim has a parasocial relationship with Gaga, but she did look at me in 2011. Yeah, well, so we're really besties. I think you're in a relationship with her brand new single. Look, there's even a wrestler, Sonya Deville, WWE wrestler. She's a lesbian, right? She's a lesbian WWE wrestler. And this guy got so obsessed with her, going to all the fan meetups and all this stuff. And fucking, I love you. And you go to her Twitter page and you could see him writing all this stuff to her going, "Today I had tuna sandwiches and they were delicious, Sonya." And Sonya's not even her fucking real name. It's her wrestling name. It's funny. Wrestlers are like sex workers. They have other names. Right? They're not really called Bam Bam Bigelow, you know? But this guy got so fucking obsessed that he fucking broke into her house and was waiting for her in her bedroom going, "Here I am. Remember I told you about those tuna sandwiches?" And she was like, "Get the fuck out of my house, you weirdo. What the fuck is going on?" So this is one of the biggest problems with parasocial relationships, that they can, in the wrong minds, lead to some really bonkers stuff. And that is scary. Scary for anybody, especially now that like this is not a new thing for people in movies and television and radio and all of these things that for the longest time, us growing up, right, us Gen Xers, or if you're a boomer, it doesn't matter, whatever those terms are, movies and television and radio, these things all seem like very prestigious things when we were young. Oh, I'd like to be in a television or on these days you kind of look at it and go, fuck, I can just get on YouTube. The landscape of entertainment has definitely changed, and especially with news reporting and entertainment. Here I am sitting here in my fucking bedroom at 8 a.m. talking a bunch of nonsense to a bunch of my friends, which I call friends. Are you my friends? No, really. Are you? We'll get to this community and parasocial relationships, but because the landscape has changed, it's a lot easier to get to people, and there's this other thing that goes on now called doxing. And some people now, like you think about it, when we had movies and television was like the standard, and we didn't have this access to social media and being able to perform like this kind of thing so readily at our fingertips, celebrities, if you were a big celebrity, you had like security to look after you, to protect you from this kind of shit. Plus, you were probably able to, own a big enough house with a big enough security to keep fucking lunatics out. Not so much these days in the dawn of internet streaming. If you followed Twitch and YouTube, there's been a lot of instances of people on Twitch who have had, for example, Amaranth. Do you guys know Amaranth? Well, I need to show you Amaranth. She's, she's Amaranth, streamer, not the grain. So this is Amaranth, and hubba hubba, she's a bit of a right. She's a bit of a right. Get some more images, can we? Oh, calm down, Jade. Relax. Damn. All right, enough. It's too early. Yes, and you're right, Herbs. She sold her farts in a jar, and people bought them. People bought, and her bath water. And what did she do? Her streams were just her sitting there talking into a mic going, hello, hello. And she started the whole craze on Twitch of the bathtub, what was it, the swimming pool streams where they'd sit there in a bikini, and people would super chat, the equivalent of super chats here on YouTube, and she'd write their name on her tits because she could get away with it. It was softcore porn. It was not showing anything, and boy, was it titillating the youngsters. But this kind of thing led to people finding out where she lived, and they fucking doxed the shit out of her. And then one guy turned up at her house with a whole bunch of guns in his car. Yay. Yay. So good. So much fun. And this is a fear, man. This is, I'm not going to lie, it's something that I think about a lot, right? And only because it's happened to me. And I'm far from any kind of big celebrity. I always call myself a Z-grade celebrity from what I've done in my history as a musician and touring and stuff. But I've had some fucking stalkers over the years that started out as like, hello, I like your content. Thank you. That's really nice. And in a very short period of time, without me doing anything, then turned into, here's a photo of me. We should be together. What? But I didn't put out any of those vibes. I thought, what? And then I kind of very politely said, thank you, that's a very nice picture, but I'm not looking for anybody at this moment. So I'm sorry to inform you of this information. And this is only fucking 2021 on this channel this happened. And that proceeded in some really fucked up shit, because then she started making videos about me and how I'm a piece of shit for breaking her heart, and that she knew I would do this to her because I'm full of shit, and all the stuff I promote on my channel about rising people up obviously was a fucking lie, because I've destroyed her heart. I've taken it out of her chest, stood on it, and I fucked her entire life up. Okay? Can you stop messaging me now, please? And I had to block this person to the point that she continued. The emails only stopped last year. They continued to go to my spam box, and just like continued conversations like that we were having that we weren't. Like it would start off with like, so remember what I was saying last week? And I'm like, well, what? I have not spoken to you in fucking 3 years. What is happening? You need some help. Even to the point, I don't care. Of course, I'm not going to disclose who they are. Even to the point, they made a video to one of their songs that they wrote, and the video clip looks like an episode of Walk With Me. There's a camera walking along filming. It's like an episode of Walk With Me, and it ends at this scene of like a video camera and this heart. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Can you go away? Please. So this is the problem with parasocial relationships, that they can get out of hand and you have no power over them because you're just doing you, right? You're just doing the thing that you do. And again, it's mental health that you can't control it. What are you going to do? You know, you can't always know where people are at. And it's not your responsibility to know where people are at mentally, right? But in saying this, I think anybody who takes on like this kind of entertainment, this kind of form of medium, performing on YouTube or Twitch or whatever it is, TikTok, I think you, and people may disagree with me on this, and that's okay, but I think you have to have a level of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? You have to be considerate of the possible outcomes that can come from what you're doing, and you have to respect this stuff, and you have to think about it, and you do have to think about what you say. You have to be responsible. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking at. With anything, I think what in life that you do, you've got to be responsible for your actions, right? And always try and keep on top of the things you're putting out there, and realize sometimes the things you say can encourage this stuff. So you've got to have some form of responsibility on yourself and place these fences, these geo fences around what you tell and how you tell it and how far you'll go with people to support or communicate, and try and it's hard because then you end up being on the back foot and being guarded, and that's really hard because here on say YouTube or Twitch, the way creators take off is through their exuberant personalities, through their authenticity, through their how sometimes honest they are and how forthcoming they are with who they are and their experiences. So it's a very fine fucking line you've got to walk on. Because again, you can't always tell how well people are, right? And I'm not saying that to take the piss, but there is a form of responsibility you have to take, yeah? And hey, if of course, when somebody is cray-cray and they want to come to your house and blow you up, well, that's beyond your scope. It's probably not your fault. It's probably not your fault. Dell says, I know what you mean. I had somebody who was supposed to be a friend calling up my kids on Messenger and even getting his kids involved because they were friends. It's sad. Yeah, and this doesn't only happen I can, celebrities, or Z-grade, B-grade celebrities. Gary can't stop listening. And this is not victim blaming. It's just a good advice. Did you write something? Look, oh, man. Look, I'm going to get back over here. Let's come back over here to, no, not Amaranth. No. Go, whoa, calm down, Amaranth. No. Hey, Trimmer Bear. And if I've missed anybody who's come in here, yeah, people be crazy. It is what it is, man. When I say that, I'm not being crazy ableist. Is that a word? Crazy blist? It's like ableist. I'm not being... Anyway, but sometimes, man, there are some people who probably need some help. And unfortunately, we do live in a world where that help is not forthcoming much anymore. I mean, places which used to offer some of this help closed down, and we are in a place where a lot of people aren't getting the care that they actually need to get. And that sucks, man. I feel terrible for that. So I'm going to come back over here to Parasocial Relationships, thanks to DeepSeek. God, that coffee's good. Let's break down some characteristics, thanks to DeepSeek. One-sided interactions. The individual invests time and emotional energy into the relationship, while the media personality remains unaware of the individual's existence or involvement. Perceived intimacy. The individual may feel they know the personality deeply, often due to the curated or personal content the personality shares. Emotional attachment. The individual may experience strong emotions such as admiration, loyalty, or even romantic feelings towards the personality. Lack of reciprocity. Okay, Mixed Club. The relationship is inherently unbalanced as the personality does not and cannot reciprocate the individual's feelings or engagement. Role in identity and well-being. For some individuals, parasocial relationships can provide companionship, comfort, and a sense of belonging, especially in cases of loneliness or social isolation. See, that is a thing also, right? Because there are parasocial relationships that are healthy. And I think we kind of have, that's why I started today talking about how wonderful this community is and how, I feel like I want to put a lock and key on this community to say, no, stay out. It's good at the moment. Don't come in here because we don't need you wiping your dog shit shoes on the carpet. Pete Johns, the folks who need the help and can afford it will refuse to get it. The folks who need help can't afford it. Yeah. Welcome, Pete. Pete's coming up next. He's doing Your Music Live, or he plays Your Music Live each and every week, and we love Pete for doing that. So let's touch on this community, what's very interesting and different about it, because I think as musicians, right, we have like a bit of a leg up in this kind of community, because the majority of people in this broader YouTube space that we have across a multitude of channels, they're outweighs, because this is the thing with real world, outside in the real world, away from our little sphere we have here, the fans outweigh the artists. Where here, in our little indie community, the artists outweigh the fans. And I kind of like that, right? Because we write so much and we put our hearts in everything that we write and put out there and share it, and there's shows that share all this stuff, and it's sometimes Thomas Christ, Pete Johns, people who are artists themselves sharing other artists' music. It's very incestuous, isn't it? Oh my God, now I'm thinking about it. We're all probably going to end up with one of those weird incest chins, aren't we? What is that called? I always forget what it's called. What's the incest chin called? Somebody help me. The Hasberg jaw. That's what it is, isn't it? Is that what we're all going to end up like that? There we are. That's us. If we all keep coming to these shows, you're all going to end up like this because of that. We're there. We're on our way, you know. So that is us. I can deal with that as long as nobody gets into our little community. Mr. Smith, keep it in your pants. All right. But look, again, why the parasocial thing seems to not be such a thing is because we all share our music, and you know it's like we're all a bunch of card-carrying introverts. Really, a lot of us are. You may even think, what are you talking about, Joe? I am too. I am such a private, very quiet, leave me the fuck alone person. I go to a party and say, get the fuck away from me. But sit me in front of a camera or on a stage and I'm like, yeah, let's go. But apart from that, but we put everything into our music. We put everything into our performances. We wear our heart in our music. And so you are delivering on a weekly, daily, how often you make music, you are delivering your soul and your heart, whatever you call that, on a platter to people. So you don't need to sit there and go, hey, Chris Lane Sr., just got here late in the naughty corner for you. I need to message you today and tell you about this thing. I don't need to do that because I'm probably going to release a song eventually this year which will say that thing, and Chris doesn't need to like hear that shit because it could be annoying. You know what I mean? So we're able to deliver parts of ourselves and be able to put together the pieces of who we are as in a community that isn't so much like pining for more information. Did I put ads in this show? Oh, well done. Thanks, Russ. You are a legend. Everybody, give Russ a round of applause. I'm going to do it. Thanks, Russ. So, yes, let's do that. I've got to remember my train of thought. Look who's here. It's the Mox Club. Hello, Spaz Club. Mix Club is here. Hello. Yeah, good catch. Thank you. Round of applause. Oh, Pete's on fire today. You can catch more of this humour over at Studio Live today, straight after this. Pete's going to be delivering the whoppers today. I can feel it. Get that second cup of coffee into you, Pete. All right, let's run our ad, and then I can remind you of what's happening this week. The ad has been run. You can avoid the ad by becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber or by skipping the ad. So I haven't done the thumbnail yet, but the big news is today, this Thursday here on this channel, must see YouTube. Justine Kasprick coming on the show for a live interview. Thursday in the US and UK time, Friday morning here in Australia. I am very, very, very privileged and do not take this lightly at all, but to have Justine come on and spend a couple of hours with me to find out just who the fuck she is and what's been going on. And not be stuck up on a panel full of a bunch of talking heads who love hogging the spotlight. Guilty. I'm one of those, right? So that is happening this week. Plus, there's a whole lot of app demos coming up this week. And Walk With Me on Friday after Valerie Bart will be the second part of my trip that I went on last week. So where was I? We were back over here with this thing, wasn't it? What are we talking about? Parasocial relationships. Why I think it's not a thing here. And look, it could be. I'm sure. Listen, if I sit here right now and definitively say, I think we're pretty good with parasocial relationships here. Tomorrow somebody's going to come along and fucking start stalking someone. So there's that. But I think we've been pretty lucky with this kind of stuff so far. And I hope, again, this is why I do these rants, to get this stuff out. It's better out than in, as a doctor always tells me. Or what I used to tell to clients who'd come and pay me for sex. It's better out than in, because nobody wants to spend more than 2 minutes with those people. But yes, look, and if you see it, I think that's the one thing too. It's good we are in so many chats here, And we see when shit goes down in the chats, yeah? We're all pretty good at spotting the weirdo who's just popped in and gone, ah. So stay vigilant, because sometimes what's hard is, especially with female artists, there can be some people who will come into chats and be very parasocial, like, hello. Say Kim, we'll use Kim Hudson as an example. Please, if anybody's out there thinking about doing this to Kim, don't, or I'll find you. But, you know, you see it. It'd be like, hi, Kim. Did you get that message I sent you? And so, oh, what's going on here? Who's this guy? And then they're in the next chat. Kim, remember, did you get that teddy bear I posted to you? No. So be vigilant. Look out, because they sneak in, they find you, they find these places, and they can come in and they start, you know, doing this kind of stuff. So look out for each other. Yeah, it's a good thing to look out for each other, because these things can pop up, and all of a sudden these people are coming. Kim says, I don't read messages. Well, that's it too. See, that's the one thing about a lot of women here in our community. Valerie Butt, for example, she just doesn't read the messages and doesn't get back to you. So you're safe. And I know Valerie's probably listening, so be like Valerie. Just don't respond. It's the best way. Stalk with me could be next year's way of doing the show. Yeah, look, nah, maybe not, Mr. Smith. Can we erase that concept from the universe? It would probably be a good thing. I don't want any of that shit. Let's call it like it is, says Chris. Yeah, we talked about this at the top of the show. Every single artist last night bought their A++ game, and everybody in the chat, everybody involved, people who supplied art, like Ali, who did the art for the show. It was fantastic. Camellia sitting in the chat slinging links all fucking night, and Wendy, and like everybody pulled their socks up last night. It was just an incredible thing to see. And not for nothing, but I don't know if anyone else has noticed, this is getting off the track a little bit, but since the tragic passing of our dear friend Kurt, I have noticed this community really come together in so many more people's chats. There is a real fucking coming together, and I got to applaud everybody on doing that, on taking such a shit thing to happen, and everybody just pulling together. I really hope it continues during this whole year, you know. Dear Jade, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. Yeah, fucking. Any wonder? You know why, Chad? Pole vaults told me all the things, and I shouldn't even be talking about it here. Blame pole vault. All right. Where are we? Let's come down here. Let's come back over here. Oh, this is what I want to type into DeepSeek. I want to ask, what is the difference between parasocial relationships and stalking? Very curious to know what DeepSeek tells me. Parasocial relationships and stalking are fundamentally different in terms of intent. Wow, look at it go. I really like this thing over ChatGPT because it's free. And it's got a very large language model. So let's see what it says here. Different in terms of intent, behavior, and impact, though they can sometimes share the superficial similarities, such as intense focus on another person. Here's the breakdown of the key differences. Nature and relationship. Parasocial relationship, these are one-sided, emotionally driven, of the nature of relationship. We get this, but the individual sense. Stalking. Stalking involves persistent, unwanted attention or harassment directed towards another person. It is real-world behavior that often includes, Rhett, why are you calling me? You fucking weirdo. There's a... Let me make sure I block Rhett. All right, blocked. There we go. There's one parasocial relationship down. Stalking. What? Fuck off, Rhett, you weirdo. He's got a skeeter on his dick or some shit. Stalking involves persistent unwanted attention or harassment directed towards another person. It is a real-world behavior that often includes intrusive actions such as following, monitoring, or attempting to contact the target against their will. Example, a fan repeatedly sends unsolicited messages to a streamer, shows up at their home, or tracks their movements online or offline. It's really hard to see the difference. Hello, Dom. I hope you're doing well after our chat. And Ron, g'day, Wolfstone Studio. Hello. Thanks all for being here today and hanging out for the come down after the massive show yesterday, which was just incredible. Life imitates art. Yeah, absolutely. Reciprocity. Man, why? When did the English language put a osity at the end of everything? Remember when? And remember when coins, you would say, go collect the coins? And now I hear people say, go collect the coinage. What the fuck? Sometimes the English language is so stupid, right? Anyway, we've got here, so the media personality or celebrity is typically unaware of the individual's feelings. We've covered all this stuff. But in stalking, the target of stalking is acutely aware of the stalker's actions. So here is the difference. Acutely aware of their actions, which are often intrusive. So yes, you actually, that's when the switchover happens, yeah? Because when it's just parasocial, you're completely oblivious to it and everything's great and you just don't even know this cunt exists. And then they're at your door and then you know, don't you? Hello. Oh, you're the guy I said that $5 super chat to. You sent me a $5 super chat. Why the fuck are you at my front door? How did this happen? Okay. Fun times. So there you go. That is the switchover. Definitely for me when they bring it, when you actually start noticing the weirdo and they're at your door or they're bombing you with messages. Behavior or intent. So we've already covered the relationship, the parasocial meaning of this. Hello, Capsulam. Good to see you, beautiful. Can I say that? Can I call somebody beautiful in this day and age without getting cancelled? She is beautiful. Anyway, stalking. So in relation to behavior or intent, stalking involves active, intrusive behaviors that violate the target's privacy and boundaries. The intent may range from obsession to harassment, control, or even harm. Example, a stalker uses online tools to track a streamer's location, sends unwanted gifts, or makes threats. Yes, because that's the way it always starts, yeah? I think with parasocial relationships, it's more so people look at, see me talking directly down the camera and go, and I'll say, you can do anything if you really try. And they go, are you talking to me directly? I can do anything. Can I find out where you live? No, not that. Not that, please. But yeah, impact on the target. Parasocial relationships. The media personality or celebrity is generally unaffected by the individual's feelings as they're unaware. See, this is, I guess, the main focus here that we're talking about. The unaware compared to, oh, I now know you exist. Stalking has a direct, often harmful impact on the target, causing fear, anxiety, and a sense of violation. It can escalate into physical harm or legal consequences. Social or legal context. Again, stalking is a criminal offence. We're just liking somebody on the internet and going, I really like them a lot, is not illegal. You can't go to jail for that. But stalking is a criminal offence in many jurisdictions. It's recognised as a serious violation of personal boundaries. So I guess there's the turnover, yeah. So once you take it into that real world, the key takeaway, let's read this, and then we'll start to wrap things up and get out of here for today. While parasocial relationships and stalking both involve an intense focus on another person, they differ significantly in terms of behavior, intent, or impact. Parasocial relationships are one-sided, emotionally driven connections that typically remain within the realm of imagination and media consumption. In contrast, stalking involves intrusive, harmful behaviors that directly affect the target's life and well-being. Recognizing the difference is crucial for maintaining healthy boundaries and ensuring safety in both online and offline interactions. So again, this is not a one-way street where you sit here and go, well, you know, I just hope none of these psychos find me. Yeah, you have a responsibility to even like when I was when I do Walk With Me, I'm never going to film an episode of Walk With Me of me walking out my front door and then turning around and going, here's my house. That's never going to happen, right? Even though I love you all. And for the most part, I trust the majority of you who I know well enough. But it's that one person. You know, especially being trans too. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this at the moment. Let's just call it for what it is without getting, you know, I'm not trying to get political, but there seems to be a lot of people out there at the moment who hate trans people and wear the blame for all the problems in the world. In fact, if it wasn't for trans people, eggs wouldn't cost $10 for 12, apparently. So having that too, this is just on my personal experience, having that on top of me just doing this is a little bit scary because I've talked about this on the channel too. So I do get some fucking very strange emails from people saying, I hope you die and I want to find you and cut your throat. I'm not shitting you. Right? So when Costa, for example, Costa mentioned this when he was on Chris's stream the other day. And we have a joke about it now, which is okay. But one day I jumped on Laurie's stream. She was doing a live stream and I jumped on Laurie's stream live on my phone and was like, hi, everybody, I'm at a pub. And Costa, probably not thinking, not harmful or anything, went, I know where you're at. You're here. And it was like, fuck, that's not a good thing. I don't want people to know where I am right now. Fucking, you don't know who's watching. So it's a thing that you got to have some kind of protective layer over yourself for this kind of shit, you know, because there's some fucking bonkers people out there who really want to harm you. And again, yeah, this is a thing to think about too. If you're some kind of entertainment streamer and you want to put an address out there for people to contact you, P.O. Box, folks, in the next town. In the next fucking town, trust me. Because listen, even a P.O. Box is not a fucking done deal safe thing. Because people, I've seen this before, people will go and send something to a P.O. Box and go and wait at the P.O. Box for you to go there. Because you've got to go there to pick it up, remember? So these things aren't foolproof. But, you know, if you're at that point where you've got someone like that following you, I think you're fucked. Now, see you later, David. Thanks for hanging out. And thank you all for hanging out today. I will dump you all over at Pete's in a moment. Now, the reason I am so protective about this is, well, I'll tell you, I have had another stalker in my life. And let's just cover this. It started the same kind of way. It started from me playing in a band and them coming to my gigs and them seeing me perform and them meeting me offhand and me not remembering this interaction ever. I had no fucking recollection of ever meeting this person. And somehow they found out where I lived and they started sending shit. And it was weird shit that they were sending me. They were sending me like these plaques with burnt hair. Hair had been burnt onto this plaque that had been, it was fucking weird. And I had a P.O. box and I just fucking started going to my P.O. box and there was all this weird shit that I was picking up from this girl. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? And it was I swear, I wish I had the photo of this thing. It was like this piece of wood that had been painted with fucking hair that had been burnt onto it. And it just kept coming and coming. And then they found out where I lived. And you know how they found out where I lived? This is so crazy. And this just started like from a gig. I just played a gig and they saw me and then they found out how I lived. And you know how they found out how I lived? They first found out that I was moving from my current house. And I stupidly was on a live stream and stupidly mentioned the removal company I was moving with. And they found out fucking where that truck was going and came to my house that I was moving from and then followed the removal truck to my new house. I fucking shit you not. And this bitch, man, I couldn't get rid of her for fucking 2 years. 2 years. I had a file on this motherfucker and the police could do nothing. They could do nothing. She found out where I lived when I moved again. I moved again to another place and I was on a live stream with somebody and I cammed up from my house and she actually studied the layout of my apartment and then went looking for apartments around where I lived, and sadly all the apartments that I lived in, the main block I lived in, all the apartments had the same layout. So 2 other places were for lease, so she found where I lived again. And then she started putting my home address on neo-Nazi websites, saying that I was a child. Man. So that's why I'm super protective of my fucking life on here. But you know what? Here's the thing. Be safe. Yeah. Think about things. Be responsible. Have self-care. Don't give everything away when you on live streams and all this kind of stuff. But be authentic still. And have some kind of boundaries, because this is the way you connect with people, is your authenticity and your shared experiences and who you are. And so it's don't feel scared to do all of that. Yeah. But yeah, have some thought and just second guess and you'll be absolutely fine. Thankfully, let's end on this. We've got a minute to go before I dump you all. We have a really amazing community here. And I know just from looking around everyone's chat and everyone here that people have got each other's backs. And that's really fantastic. Please keep that up. Keep looking out for people in chats. You see something? Piff them. Yeah? Reach out. If you see something that looks a bit odd, reach out to someone. Hey, is somebody hassling you? Just do it. But we are in a really good place where we are here. And again, it's not policing. It's not, you shouldn't get over police all this kind of stuff. But if you see something, say something. Yeah. But just on the down low. Yeah. On the down low. Because you're all wonderful people. And I would hate to see, again, stuff like this happen. And Rhett, you're a creep. But I love you. All right. I've probably spoken way too much. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out on these rants. I love that you come over here and support me talking nonsense every Monday morning for me, Sunday for you. Fantastic job on the performances yesterday. And, yeah, hopefully you can come and join me for my hangout with Justine Kasprick this week. It's going to be mwah. Pete John's playing your music next. You guys rock. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. We all rise together, folks. Stay awake. Let's Oge.